Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's News. Today's date is Monday, the 29th of July, 2024, the year of a million transactions per second or more. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's see what we've got in store for us today. You see the price is going up in the top left of the screen. That was like around 45 the other day. Now it's like sort of 52. So we're going to do a separate chart show at the end of this. So this is just going to be a bit of a news roundup. So we've got this one here. Record $39.4 billion Bitcoin open interests suggest imminent price breakout. So again, it just goes to show you that BTCers are like interested in nothing but number go up, because that's kind of like all they understand about it. But there's another one here that I thought we'd look at saying US national debt passes 35 trillion. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. And again, like 35 trillion. Well, who are we in debt to? The bank prints money, gives it to the government. Well, it doesn't print money, it prints currency. It's securities fraud. So what, we're indebted to the bank for 35 trillion who made that 35 trillion up from nothing? Like, honestly, it's just absolutely insane. We've got another article here from Crypto Potato saying Riot Platforms acquires a block mining for $92.5 million. Expands hash rate and market reach. Another one about Senator Loomis proposes a $67 billion strategic Bitcoin reserve to back US dollar. All right then. Interpol issues red notice for Hong Kong crypto promoter linked to a $384 scam. And I found this one. Look, why is the Swiss franc appreciating so much? Just about the history of the Swiss franc here and its revaluation. Again, like a lot of billionaires are moving their currency into the Swiss franc. You know, why would that be, I wonder? Then we've got just a little bit here from the Crypto Open Patent Alliance that we're just going to go through, because there are a few points here that I want to... a few points I want to point out to everybody, because I had a few trolls trying to shut me up, and I was just like, nah, this is a free country so far. I can say what I want. And then we've got 365 days of Bitcoin history. Big day for us today. Some quotes from CSW. So today was the famous day where he said, if you don't believe it, if you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to try to convince you. Sorry. What an epic tweet that is. And there we go. Right, so let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Right then, let's have a look at this first one then about this number go up. I'm not going to read all of it, but anywho. So, record $39.4 billion Bitcoin open interest suggests imminent price breakout. Honestly, like, who cares? Literally just sitting there, all the traders going, oh, price is going up, going to sell, going to shit on someone. But then, you know, they've got a conflict of interest there with Trump going, never sell your Bitcoin. Yeah, well, never sell your shitcoin, because he's talking about BTC. Is open interest is often used to gauge the interest and liquidity behind an asset. In Bitcoin's case, the surge in open interest could signal an imminent breakout. That's right, just keep tantalizing them. Oh, number could go up, number could go down, but number could go up, but then it could go down. Honestly, it's so elementary, it's boring. Bitcoin's futures open interest has reached a new all-time high, suggesting that investors' demand for the world's largest cryptocurrency is increasing. Could a price breakout be imminent? BTC open interest, a metric monitoring the total number of open positions in the underlying asset, has reached an all-time high of $39.46 billion across all exchanges. The current figure surpasses the previous all-time high of $39.03 billion, reached on March 29, 2024. So it was March this year, according to CoinGlass data. Bitcoin's open interest is used by traders to gauge the interest and liquidity behind an asset. The current 39.46 billion peak shows increased investor interest in Bitcoin. That's BTC, oh dear, SegWit shitcoin, which may precede a breakout towards new record highs. Oh look, Bitcoin could be imminent, but then again it might not be. The new record high in open interest paired with other indicators, suggest that the BTC price could be on track to break out to new all-time highs. Notably, over 75% of BTC's short-term holders were in profit as of July 24. This could translate into more upward momentum for BTC, since the short-term cohort is often used to gauge retail demand for BTC. I mean, it just hurts my head talking about all this crap. Yeah, number up, number down. Yeah, no, black, right. I mean, it's pure gambling. It's just ridiculous, you know. But let's have a look at this one. US national debt passes $35 trillion. Really? Where did that come from? 5 things to know about BTC this week. Bitcoin bulls demand a rematch with final resistance. Again, trying to promote trading. Final resistance below all-time highs to start this week, as BTC price upsides puts 70,000 back in play. BTC sets up a crunch climax to July at $70,000, comes into view in time for the monthly close. In what promises to be a frantic few days for BTC price action, bulls are attempting to claw back lost support at a key psychological levels. Oh yeah, red and green candles is a psychological level. Oh, this means that the price could go up or down. Honestly, it's just honestly, if anybody saw that embarrassing BTC conference where literally they're just going on about fiat currency again, nothing to do with the fundamentals or price of Bitcoin. Honestly, they just think it's a speculative piece of crap. It's so embarrassing. Yeah, like they haven't figured it out yet. Crypto Potato says a Riot Platforms acquires a block mining for $92.5 million, expands hash rate and market reach. The deal boosts Riot's hash rate by 1 exahash right away, while expanding into Kentucky. The leading American Bitcoin mining company, Riot Platforms, has acquired the Kentucky-based firm Block Mining in a transaction valued at $92.5 million. The deal, announced on July 24th, includes an $18.5 million in cash from Riot's reserves and $74 million in Riot common stock availability, or Riot common stock. Additionally, Block Mining could receive up to $32.5 million more based on performance metrics through 2025. Riot Platforms dropped $92.5 million on Block Mining. In its first press release, Riot said that it has instantly boosted its hash rate, broadening its geographical reach, and gained entry to additional energy markets outside the Electric Reliability Council of Texas region by acquiring Block Mining. Commenting on the last acquisition, Michael Stoltzner, CEO and co-founder of Block Mining, said, in assessing potential acquisition partners, it became evident that Riot Platforms not only shares our vision for an energy-efficient Bitcoin miner, but also a complementary culture and values teamwork, creativity, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Together, we're, again, absolute BS. Together, we are excited to leverage our collective strength and expertise to build Bitcoin's first data centers that will propel us to the forefront of the industry. Well, I don't actually see them listed directly, like as Riot Platforms or anything like that, in the mining hash rates, like on CoinDance or anything like that. But you know, they're bullish, misguided though. Next one, Senator Loomis proposes $67 billion strategic Bitcoin reserve to back USD. United States Republican Senator Cynthia Loomis has announced a proposal to supercharge the US dollar by establishing a strategic BTC reserve. Oh dear, it's worth nothing. The proposal came during a speech by the Republican representative for Wyoming at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville, July 27th. Quote here, "We can create a brighter future for generations of Americans by diversifying into Bitcoin and being the first developed nation to create a strategic reserve," she said. But I mean, again, it should be sort of like a sovereign reserve, I guess. The pro-crypto politicians said that such a reserve would fortify the dollar's position as the global reserve currency. Oh dear. Establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve would firmly secure the dollar's position as a world reserve currency into the 21st century and ensure we remain the world leader in financial innovation. I mean, I wonder if she's nefarious though, or just stupid. You know, I mean, like, you should have figured out that BTC doesn't work. If something is useful, it's valuable. If something is useless, it's worthless. Don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that. Loomis added that families across the US are struggling to keep up with soaring inflation rates. Yeah, because printing fiat currency, which they couldn't even print because they literally had to make it up at the touch of a button, type it into a computer screen. Record-breaking costs while national debt reaches unprecedented levels. The banks screwing the country over. Now more than ever, we need to create a brighter future for generations for Americans by diversifying into BTC and securing our economic future. Devastating. The legislation would establish a decentralized network of secure Bitcoin vaults operated by the Department of Treasury and implement a 1 million unit BTC purchase program over a set period of time to acquire a total stake of approximately 5% of total BTC supply, mirroring the size and scope of gold reserves held by the United States. This works out as approximately 986,605 BTC, worth around $67 billion at current prices. Good grief. That can only ever end in tears. Oh my goodness me. But they know what they're doing. And check this out. Interpol, a red notice for Hong Kong crypto promoter linked to $384,000 scam. Chinkit is wanted for 1 count of fraud and 2 counts of theft. What about the banks and their securities fraud? Shouldn't they be done for, fraud? Hong Kong native and crypto promoter Wong Ching Kit has entered the radar of the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, for his suspected role in several criminal cases. The latest being the cryptocurrency scam involving over, that's Hong Kong dollars, $3 million. That's Hong Kong dollars. According to a report from the South China Morning Post, Interpol has issued a red notice against Ching Kit, alerting global law enforcement that he is wanted for 1 count of fraud and 2 counts of theft in Hong Kong. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get into a far more interesting topic. Check this out. Why is the Swiss franc appreciating so much? So let's have a look at the date on this. So this is 2023, but it's fascinating, this one. I mean, just check out the figures when I go through it. The Swiss franc is stronger against the euro than ever before. What does this mean for the export industry and for inflation? And what role does the Swiss National Bank play? So over the past couple of decades, the Swiss franc has appreciated against all world's major currencies. It has not only appreciated significantly against the euro in the past 20 years or so, but also against the United States dollar and the British pound. Appreciation against the pound has been the most pronounced, whereas £1 cost around 2.5 Swiss francs in 2008. Today it only costs around 1.1 Swiss francs. Like, good grief. That means the Swiss franc is basically appreciated by more than 50%. I mean that's huge. That's huge. Since 2008, this is why the billionaires are going to the Swiss franc, because they can't afford to ruin the Swiss franc because of the Swiss national banks and everything that it holds. Why is the Swiss franc appreciating against other currencies? In the long run, a simple rule applies: the lower the inflation rate in a country, the more its currency appreciates. This is because internationally traded goods must be roughly the same price in every currency according to the theory of purchasing power parity. For example, if the price of a camera rises by 2% a year in Germany but only 1% in Switzerland, this means that the camera in Switzerland becomes comparatively cheap. As a result, more people from Germany would order a camera in Switzerland, and because they must pay for them in Swiss francs, demand for Swiss francs increases. The franc becomes more expensive, it appreciates. Therefore, over time, the appreciation of Swiss franc equalizes price changes between currency zones. However, there are also phases in which the franc appreciates excessively. What happens to exports if Swiss franc appreciates excessively? If the Swiss franc appreciates excessively, Swiss exports become more expensive abroad. An excessive appreciation of Swiss franc is therefore detrimental to tourism, for example, because fewer foreigners visitors will come to Switzerland. The machinery, electrical and metal industries also suffer if their products become more expensive abroad. How does the Swiss franc appreciation affect inflation? A stronger franc brings the advantages of making foreign goods and services cheaper for Swiss consumers. This is particularly important for oil and natural gas. These goods are largely traded in US dollars and euros. Sharp price increases on the international oil or natural gas market, such as in 2022, are therefore not fully reflective in Swiss prices. If the US dollar or the euro have more favourable exchange rates, this reduces domestic inflation. Again, so people in Switzerland are sitting pretty while the rest of the world suffers at the unbelievably reckless and irresponsible printing behaviour of the central banks. The Swiss National Bank influences the value of the Swiss franc in two ways. First, it tries to achieve a lower average inflation rate than other countries. This leads to an appreciation of the Swiss franc in the long term. Second, the Swiss National Bank can influence the value of the Swiss franc in the short term with its monetary policy. Most recently, it sold foreign currency to make the franc appreciate. This has made imports cheaper and thus kept Swiss inflation comparatively low. But I mean, that is absolutely massive. Look at that. So here we go. So this is the comparison for the euro. So autumn holidays in Italy or France this year were cheaper than ever for the Swiss. They only had to pay 94 cents for €1 20 years ago. €1 now costs £1 and 55 cents. That's an increase of 30%. So the Swiss franc has actually appreciated against the euro by 30%. That's huge, and it's a massive and almost 50% against the pound. You know, I mean, it's massive. That is absolutely massive. And we all know what's in Switzerland. You've got the Bank for International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization. Literally, all the worst eggs in this world are in Switzerland, and they're just simply protecting themselves. That's what they are. So I thought that was fascinating. But look at that, 49 cents for €1. Now it's £1 and 55 cents for €1. I mean, shocking. And £1 used to cost £2.50. Now £1 only gets you £1.10, £1 and 10 cents. I mean, people need to know what's going on, because I mean that's massive. That's massive. And yeah, let's get into this one here. So at point 201 in the approved judgment from the High Court in the Copa case, I'm just going to read what he wrote here. So he said, so far as Mr. Matthews, this is Stephen Matthews, is concerned, it is true, as Copa submitted, that he has been a major player in Dr. Wright's campaign to establish himself as Satoshi for many years, and in that capacity has been a significant supporter and purveyor of that lie. So he is now calling Stephen Matthews a liar. And as we now know, well, as we saw in the court, there are no allegations of forgery or fraud, let alone any evidence. There is literally nothing. So there is no allegations and there is no evidence of Stefan being a liar. So really, the judge would actually he can be sued in his own personal and private capacity for making this defamation claim. It's scandalous. This is why he won't have signed this, which we'll have a look at in a minute. However, I'm concerned that the lies he made in his written witness statement, but mostly importantly, made his oral evidence in the witness box. His most significant lie was that he received a version of the Bitcoin white paper from Dr. Wright in August 2008, one which he sought to maintain in cross-examination. This is a very important prop for Dr. Wright's claim to be Satoshi. It was a barefaced lie. Look, he's calling him a barefaced liar. This is absolutely scandalous. The judge calling somebody a barefaced liar when there's no allegations of forgery or fraud, let alone any evidence of such. This is absolutely outrageous. But also a higher cynical lie in view of the prospective financial gain which Dr. Wright and those supporting him, including Mr. Matthews, stood to gain if Dr. Wright's claim to be Satoshi had been upheld. For these reasons, I consider I should refer Mr. Matthews' evidence to the CPS so that they can consider whether he should be prosecuted for perjury. And let's go down and have a look at this. Is this order signed? Oh, look, it's completely blank. There's nothing there. There is nothing there. And the reason he won't do it is because because if he signed it, he would be giving authority and perjuring himself and leaving himself open to be sued for not only malfeasance in public office, but for calling, like Stephen Matthews, a barefaced liar. That's why he hasn't signed it. He hasn't put his name on it. There is nothing there at all. This order is not signed. It's an absolute load of bullshit. And again, like I said, no allegations of forgery or fraud. So how is he got the audacity to call Stephen Matthews a barefaced liar? But when there's no allegations, let alone any evidence to support that. So therefore, he would be opening himself up for defamation. Defaming somebody's character. He's got no right to do that whatsoever. It's absolutely outrageous. 365 days of Bitcoin history. Check this out. We are now at the 29th of July. As we go down here. Here we go. I'll check it out. So on the 29th of July 2010, Craig Wright wrote, if you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to convince you. Sorry. And then he talked about the transaction rate, which we'll get to in a minute. But then also on the 29th of July 2015, Greg Coin, the quote of Greg Coin, came out. Check this out. So this was an email from Mike Hearn to GMAX, Greg Maxwell, entitled Why Satoshi's Temporary Anti-Spam Measure Isn't Temporary. So yeah, Mike Hearn, I think there's two. He mentions Greg Maxwell in here. So let's read this then. He said, can I enlarge this? It was well understood that the users of Bitcoin would wish to protect its decentralization by limiting the size of the chain to keep it verifiable on the small devices. And this is a reply to that. Mike Hearn said, no, it wasn't. It is something you invented yourself much later. Small devices isn't even defined anywhere, so there can't have been any such understanding. The actual understanding was the opposite. Satoshi's words, and here we go, at first the most users would run network nodes, but as the network grows beyond a certain point, it will be left more and more to the specialists with server farms of specialized hardware. And Mike Hearn pointed out that that's from 2008 and linked to it here, where Craig had actually said that. Let's go back again. And he said, then he went on to talk about Moore's Law and streaming HD videos and the like. At no point did he ever talk about limiting the system for small devices. I've been both working on and using Bitcoin for longer than you and have been around Gregory. Please don't attempt to bullshit me about what the plan was and stop obscuring what this is about. It's not some personality cult. The reason I kept beating you over the head with Satoshi's words is because it's the founding vision of the project that brought everyone together and gave us all a shared goal. If Satoshi had said that from the start, said Bitcoin cannot ever scale, so I intend to be heavily limited and used only on a handful of people for rare transactions. I picked 1 megabyte as an arbitrary limit to ensure it never gets popular, then I'd have not bothered getting involved. Well, exactly, yeah. I'd have said, I don't really feel like putting effort into a system that is intended to not be popular, and so would many other people. Exactly, by limiting it, you're restricting it. People can't use it. It's so stupid. Don't think that you can claim otherwise, because doing so is flat out wrong. I just did claim otherwise, and no, I'm not wrong at all, which incidentally is insanely toxic to any security argument for that would be simplified payment verification. And now we see the market failure that results from your and Gavin's years-long campaign to ignore problems in the mining ecosystem. Since when have we campaigned to ignore problems in the mining ecosystem? What does that even mean? That's a question mark. Was it not I who wrote this blog post? And then he said, Gregory, you're getting really crazy now. Stop it. The trend towards mining centralization is not the fault of Gavin or myself or anyone else. And simplified payment verification is exactly what was always intended to be used. It's not something I fixate on. It's right there in the white paper. Satoshi even encouraged me to keep working on Bitcoin before he left. Look, it's clear you have decided that the way Bitcoin was meant to evolve isn't to your personal liking. That's because Greg is in bed with Blockstream and the central banks. They don't want people to use Bitcoin. That's fine. Go make an altcoin where your founding documents state that it is intended to always run on a 2015 Raspberry Pi or whatever it is you mean by small device. Remove simple payment verification capability from the protocol so everyone has to fully validate. Make sure that's the understanding that everyone has from day one about what your altcoin is for. Then when someone says, gee, it'd be nice if we had some more capacity, or someone else can go point at the announcement emails and say, no, GregCoin is meant to always be verified on small devices. That's our social contract and it's written into the consensus rules for that reason. But your attempt to convert Bitcoin into the altcoin by exploiting a temporary hack is desperate and deeply upsetting to many people. Not many quit their jobs and create companies to build products only for today's tiny user base. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why would you build something that's got a tiny user base? I mean, this is absolutely hilarious. Where's that thing about GregCoin? And so there we go. GregCoin, brilliant. The reference to GregCoin. So that's basically what it is. BTC is GregCoin, because that's what they've done. It's not meant to be used, and it's only for a limited number of users. So nobody's going to build anything useful on it because you've only got a small user base. But yeah, that was a great email. That one. There was something else that I quite liked in that I'll go back to. Yeah, about Satoshi's saying it should be used for streaming, HD streaming. Let's see. Is this blog still up? Be great if it is. Oh, what a shame. No surprise there then. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Then he went on to talk about Moore's law and streaming HD videos, and then the like. At no point did he ever talk about limiting the system for small devices. Oh, let's have a look. So see if we can see this for HD streaming. Let's have a look. Bandwidth, typical transaction. There we go. Visa processes 37 billion transactions. Here we go. Right. That many transactions would take 100 gigabytes of bandwidth, or the size of 12 DVDs or 2 HD quality movies, or about $18 worth of bandwidth at current prices. If the network were to get that big, it would take several years, and by then sending 2 HD movies over the internet would probably not seem like a big deal. Yeah, so literally Satoshi Nakamoto had the idea of streaming high definition movies over the network from the beginning, and that was November 3rd, 2008 he wrote that. Fantastic. And let's see what this is on Reddit. So somebody's doing thank you, Mike Hearn, for sticking up for us. This also in reply to Greg Maxwell shows it. Yeah. So that's where that's another. That's another version just to verify what he said there. Awesome, loving that. So yeah, that's the quote here from Satoshi Nakamoto saying, where is it? See if we can find it. If you don't believe it or don't get it, I don't have time to convince you. Sorry. Where is it? Where would it be? Oh, there we go. Found it. Love it. There we go. So see the Snack Machine thread. I outlined how a payment processor could verify payments well enough. Actually, really well. Much lower fraud rate than credit cards in something like 10 seconds or less. If you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to convince you. Sorry. Fantastic. And that's it there in the Bitcoin talk. Brilliant. Right, there we go. Oh, so this show actually ran over. Didn't even get time to do the chart show. So I'll jump in and do the chart show now. And as ever, if you appreciate these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.